don't know if you can hear that background noise, but my fam is watching the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But we are just going to try and make this work. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you my August TBR. If you watched my last TBR, my July TBR, I decided to have a break and try and focus on my advent calendar books. I can say that I did do a decent amount of reading in July, but none of them were my advent calendar books. So we aren't really doing very well with that. However, I am still enjoying unwrapping them. And that is what we're going to do first for this video. I'm going to unwrap my 8th advent calendar book. This is a very thin one. Hopefully it is something I might be able to get on my August TBR. I'll explain to you in a minute what I'm going to be doing for August. But let's see. Okay, it's a nice green colour. I'm wondering, do you think this is going to be a non-fiction book? Yes. It is a non-fiction book. It is The Elements of Mortal Philosophy. So this is a non-fiction book. I got this. I'm not sure if I purchased this for a class or I just got it because I was interested in it around that time. But I have a Bachelor of Arts, and one of the things I majored in was philosophy. So that's what this book is about. I actually wouldn't mind getting back into it and really having a read of this. I think I have read this in the past, but it is one of those books that you can read and read again. And it is separated out into little segments. So really, they're like small essays. So this is something I could probably put a little bit of time into. And to be honest, I have been wanting to continue to build my understanding in that subject. So that is my next book for my advent calendar. So as I have alluded to, I'm going to try something a little different for me for this video, for this TBR. I've recently filmed, though it hasn't gone up yet, I did film a weekend reading vlog where I used a wheel to select prompts that I was going to read books for. The website I'm using to do this is called Will Decide, and I will have that linked down below. But I had so much fun doing it for that vlog, which I will hopefully get up shortly, that I have decided to also do it for my August reads. I guess the first question is, how many books should I select? To help me select my number of books, I've used the calculator.net website. I'll also have that linked down in the description, and I'll put up here on the screen a little snapshot from that wheel, and I'm actually going to roll it right now. So I've got my laptop here on my computer, so I'm going to roll my dice and we'll see together how many books we're going to be putting on this TBR. Okay, 2. Wow, that is a limited number. Okay, let's do those 2 and let's roll the dice again. maybe I think only using one dice is maybe a little easy. Let's change this up. We're going to use 2 dice. Okay, you'll see here I've got the 2 dice. Let's do this again, and let's hope we don't end up with 12, because I think I've just jinxed myself. Okay, 8. 8 is a lot, and I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to get through 8 books, but I'm happy to select 8 prompts, and hopefully I can get through at least 4 of them. Okay, so let me pull up. You will also still see now up here my little August TBR decision wheel. So let's start with my first prompt. I'm going to do this with you. So I will select a prompt, and then I will select a book to match that prompt. Okay, first roll. Next book in a series you've already started. Okay. Alrighty. I know exactly which book I want to do, but it is not in this room. So let me go grab that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I cannot find it, and I did not want to spend ages looking for it, so I'll just put a little picture up here. We're going to be reading Heart of Ice, which is the second book in the Ice Flame trilogy by Rose Harvey. This series follows a hidden princess who has just come of age and is on a path to potentially take back her kingdom. I really enjoyed the first book, which I will say I was slightly surprised about, because I'm not normally a huge fan of the journey stories. And really, this was a lot more fantasy than romantasy at this current stage of the series with the first book. So I'm interested to see what happens in the second book. We do have the budding romantic interest going on, and the princess reuniting with her mother's lost family. Rose Harvey is an Australian author, and I did get to meet her at Supernova back in November in Adelaide. And I do have physical copies of the first 2 books, so I definitely need to get a copy of the third and final book in this trilogy. But that's the first book going on this pile of possibilities. Let's pull the next prompt. You will see that up here, and I'll look this way because that's where my computer is. Okay. A character who works in STEM, medicine or academia. I know the perfect book. So for a book with a character that works in STEM, I'm going to be pulling in a romance. This is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I actually have not read any Ali Hazelwood books at this time, and she is a very popular author within the romance genre. And as you know, I'm a big fan of romance. So I'm very interested to see if Ali Hazelwood is my type of author. The Love Hypothesis is also hopefully going to be a book that I was going to be reading anyway, because I'm planning a buddy read with a local book club, a smutty book club that I'm a part of. So this will be a lot of fun, and I'm happy I'm able to get this on my official TBR. All right, let's pull our third prompt. Mythology or myth-inspired retelling. Okay. You might not know that I have a Libib account, which I use to manage my physical collection. I will leave a link for that website down in the description. It is a library catalogue system. If you are in America, you can also use it for video games, magazines, board games, and a few other things. I did try to use it for video games here, but as you know, I'm in Australia, and currently our Australian ISBNs have not been, the game version of those have not been entered into the Libib background catalogue. So I can use it for books, which is how I'm managing all my physical books. And you're probably wondering why I'm telling you that. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I do have my physical books in there, and I use Goodreads to also tag books for what their main theme was. So I decided to look up the mythology theme. I did film it, so you'll probably see me doing it here. And I had 3 books in my collection with mythology as a tag. One of those books is actually in my advent calendar, so therefore I decided to pull this one in, A Gathering of Ravens by Scott Oden, as my mythology book. If I have a quick read of the back here, I'll skip most of the start, but it says, drawn from his lair by a thirst to avenge the killing of his brother, Grimnir emerges into a world that is changed. A new faith has arisen, and the old ways are dying, their followers retreating into the shadows. This does seem to be set in Ireland, and it says, drawing on the Anglo-Saxon epics and melding Dark Age history with heroic fantasy, Scott Oden has written a gloriously imagined and affecting novel of vengeance, faith, and the enduring power of myth. So I definitely think that this one fits the prompt, and I'm really happy to get one of my advent calendar books on this list. Let's go into my 4th roll. I was actually forgetting what number I was on then, and that was a bit of a worry. So our next prompt is a cover that makes you pick it up. No blurb, just vibes. Okay, a cover that I picked up because of vibes. No blurb, just vibes. What about this one here? I did pick this one up, but I think this one is this one here, Creatures of Want and Ruin by Molly Tanzer. I think this is the 2nd book in a series. Is this a 1st book or is this a 2nd book? Let me look this up. Unfortunately, this one is a 2nd book in a series, so I won't be reading this one, but this cover is just amazing. So let's see what else I have that is cover vibes only. Okay, so I think it says go by the cover only, but does the cover include the title? I think I'm going to count it, and I'm going to go with this one here. So this is called Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. So I think because of this interesting cover, and specifically, I guess, because of the title, I am going to give this one a go for a cover selection, no blurb, vibes only. And to keep with that feel, I don't think I'm going to read the blurb. I'm just going to read this if I get to it and see how it goes. But let's select our 5th roll. Why choose? I love a good why choose. Let's see what I have in my collection. I've decided to read a Kindle book. I'm going to read White by S.J. Sanders. I think that's what it is. You'll be seeing the cover up here. I've already read the first book in this series, which is called Red. And White, I think, is more of a prequel or a story regarding a different relationship group than who the original book was about. It is an alien dystopian. The original one had a Red Riding Hood feel to it. I'm unsure whether White will have maybe a Snow White feel to it or something a little bit different, but they are fun reads with an interesting relationship dynamic, and like I said, it is a why choose book. So that leaves us so far with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 books so far on our TBR, and we need to do another 3. So let's grab the next prompt. Okay. A main character over the age of 40. I really struggled with this during my vlog, which you will see, and let me see if I can find a book for this. Okay, so for a book with a character over the age of 40, I have decided to read The Cactus by Sarah Haywood. I know it's here somewhere. I'm just unable to find it at the moment. So we will be reading The Cactus. So we still have 2 more books to put on this list. So let's roll this little prompt wheel again. A second chance romance. Okay, a second chance romance. So for a second chance novel, we are going to be reading The Road Trip. This is by Beth O'Leary, and I also own this one as well. But once again, it's somewhere here and I want to get this done, so we're just going to put a picture in here. Less work now, more work for editing Verity. Okay, this is our second to last roll. Let's see what prompt we have. A cover with repeating pattern or texture. See, I could have used the cactus for that one as well. Let's see what else I have around here. So while looking for a book with a pattern, I did manage to find my copy of The Cactus. And yeah, this one would have been absolutely perfect for this prompt, but I'm already using this for a prompt. So I actually ended up selecting this one here, The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. I picked it because it does have the recurring patterns around the outside here. So I'm classing that as a cover with a repeating pattern or texture. So that fills the role for that prompt. Now for our last prompt. Let's do our last roll. Part of a duology. Okay. These prompts are really good, but it is kind of difficult selecting books on the fly. Okay, so I was just looking up some popular duologies to help me out here, and one of them I found, which I do own a physical copy of, and that one is If I Stay by Gail Forman, which is a book I have been wanting to read ever since I purchased it, and it just keeps moving further and further and further down the proverbial list. So I'm going to bring it right back up to the top and put that on as number 8 in this month's TBR. I am not silly enough to think that I'm going to be able to read all of these, plus the other 4 that I do not have here in this pile. And now I'm starting to worry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. I think I've got 8. Maybe I've accidentally done 9. I'm not sure. So while I'm editing this and figure out how many I've done, I'll put a little note up here. Well, I've accidentally gone one step too far. But I'm not silly enough to think I'm going to be able to read all of these. But I am hoping to be able to get a few of them knocked off the list and have a little fun while I'm doing it. But let's try to be one of those booktubers that can manage to remember the prompts and the books. First up, for a continuation in a series, we have Heart of Ice. Then for a book about STEM, a main character who is in STEM, we have The Love Hypothesis. Then for a book with a myth or mythology, we have A Gathering of Ravens. Then for a why choose, we have White. These are probably not in order. For a book that was selected on the cover alone, no blurb, just vibes, we have Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. For a book with a character, a main character over the age of 40, we have The Cactus. For a book with a pattern, we have The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. Then for a book part of a duology, we have If I Stay. And then we have a second chance romance. So I've just realized we've done 9, I think. We have Road Trip, The Road Trip. Yep, I'm pretty sure we ended up with 9. So that is one more than I was planning to do, but that's okay. We will go with those. But with that, that's all I've got for you today. I'm Verity. This was my August TBR. And now to the outro.